We're here today with Dr. Eric Friedman, who is the 8th president of New Jersey's largest community college, Bergen Community College. Dr. Friedman began his tenure at the beginning of January 2021 after a 13-year run at Hudson County Community College, where he was executive vice president and COO. Welcome, Dr. Friedman. We're delighted to be able to speak with you today.
What a pleasure having you at Bergen Community College.
Yes, of course. And firstly, congratulations on being newly appointed president of Bergen Community College. I'm sure you've got really big plans ahead.
Thank you. It's been a very quick 15 months in some respects, and coming in the middle of a pandemic was certainly interesting, but we're firing on all cylinders now.
Yeah, I'm sure that came with a lot of challenges, but it seems like you guys are thriving nonetheless.
We are. It's a great college. It's the largest community college in New Jersey, the very diverse community, large set of municipalities, and a lot of different people coming to the college for different reasons. It's an exciting time to be here.
It sounds like it. Was it your childhood dream to become community college president?
It really wasn't, and it's a long story. It's not very linear, actually, but I think when I was a child, I wanted to be an architect for a little period of time. And then when I was a little older, I wanted to be a chef, and I did pursue that for a period of time. And then a scholar and an academic. So there's a number of different things there, but I didn't really know from an early age that I wanted to be a community college president.
So how then did you wind up in this position?
So this came about because I had answered an ad in the Village Voice in New York decades ago. I was working in hospitality management at the time in a leadership position, and there was an advertisement to teach a class at the New York Restaurant School. And once I got into that environment, and they were an associate's degree granting institution, it was like a fish put back in water. And I started teaching what I was doing during the day, and it was a chance for me to give back. And I saw how hungry the students were for that associate's degree and what that credential was going to help them to be able to do. And that was my real beginnings of interest in the community college sector. And I'm so happy that it progressed as it did, and that I'm here with you today as the president of Bergen Community College.
That sounds like an amazing journey with a lot of stops along the way.
It is, and we'll have to have coffee sometime and talk about more of the little tributaries that it went off in.
Yeah, absolutely. What would you say some of your goals are for BCC this year?
So we're doing a lot around enhancing the physical and the aesthetic campus and campuses. We want this college to look as good as it can look. We want our facilities to be first rate. So we're really fixing everything from sidewalks to replacing banners to fixing restrooms and the swimming pool, athletic fields. We just put a whole new one-stop center in that's a holistic center for student supports. We have a new student lounge, new furniture. We're setting up charging stations and study spaces for students so that they can be here all day long and not feel like they have to leave, come back, but there'll be a nice new facility for dining, so they can do their homework, dine, take classes, study, meet friends, teamwork. They can do it all here. So physical plant enhancement and the aesthetic environment through our new art program. We have an art donation program through the foundation. We're really purposeful and intentional about our diversity, equity, and inclusion efforts. And this is the first time that Bergen has done a comprehensive climate survey, which we're about to launch. And a climate survey will really give us the information for us to craft a really good diversity, equity, and inclusion plan. We want to understand our students, faculty, and staff, how they feel a sense of belongingness or don't feel a sense of belongingness here on campus. The importance of a climate study, and this is happening at colleges and universities around the country, is to provide data that you can then craft initiatives and action items from.
Right.
So a lot of work in the DEI sector. And We are an inclusive campus, and we want to learn as much as we can through the qualitative and quantitative data that we'll get on this survey to help us craft a good DEI plan. We're doing a lot around participation, voice, and governance so that everybody has an opportunity to participate in the review of policy or the crafting of policy. And that is a real hallmark for me of my administration, that everybody, from somebody who works in public safety up to vice presidents, that everybody feels they have a voice in crafting the future of this great college. We're working on new enrollment and outreach through our communications area. We're working on new forms of visibility. We have a new economic recovery committee that is stimulating new types of partnership with business and industry and community partners. So those are some of the things that are embedded in my presidential goals. And I'm having my first meeting to start crafting my next year's set of presidential goals, because I've been here long enough to be moving into my second set of presidential goals. And those get board approved, and I bring the trustees along on the vision. And we have an amazing set of trustees that serve on a board of trustees here. And they are just absolutely thrilled that everybody is working really hard to bring all of our community members up and forward.
It sounds like all of those goals will really improve the overall environment. That's amazing that you're hitting on so many different sectors that will help the students and the staff alike.
Yeah, we're a comprehensive community college, so from continuing ed and workforce development to community outreach and community partnerships to matriculated credit-bearing certificates and degree programs, art and cultural events, fundraisers. There's a lot that happens at a comprehensive community college like this. We're not focused just on the health professions or another specialty area. We are very comprehensive.
Yeah, it sounds like it. I understand that you were able to host a collaborative event today, actually, for Women's History Month between that sector and the Asian Heritage Committee. Could you tell us a little bit about that event?
Sure. That was a heartwarming and impactful, and for me, a transformative event. Several members of our Korean community and Korean American community came to tell their stories, their life stories, in a partnership between the Korean Community Center and our Institute for Multicultural Studies, our PTK Honor Society, and our Women's History Month team, as well as our Asian Heritage Month team. And we all had our minds and our hearts opened up to really learn about people who may be a little different from us or similar in many ways, sharing many commonalities as humans, but in a way that if we weren't emphasizing and putting energy and resources into a community partnership like this, it would have been a lost opportunity. So this gave a chance for faculty, staff, students, and community members to learn from each other and to really bear witness to the lived experience of our Korean American and Korean community right here in Bergen County. I am better for having participated in this program. I can't think of a better way for a community college to live its mission than to have these types of activities and educational experiences.
Yeah, it sounds like you're definitely supporting that inclusiveness goal that you're so adamant about. And that's amazing to be able to hear these people's stories and let their voices be heard as well.
It is incredible, and it's transformative for the college, for me, the president, for students that participate, and for the professors who teach in this program, teach at the college and at the community center. And we do a lot of that type of thing where we'll teach at the college, we'll teach at a community center, we'll teach at off-site locations, we'll teach in a high school in the northern reaches of the county. So we're here central in Paramus, but we're also in Hackensack, Lyndhurst, and all of these different partnership sites. We do everything that we can, and we're focused on expanding our outreach as much as we can. As we come out of the pandemic, that's a little bit easier. But there were forms of outreach that we did through WebEx and Zoom during the pandemic, where actually we saw some participation rates that were as high as what we've done traditionally on the ground.
Yeah, and there's no way to really know that prior, so it's great to hear that those numbers still stayed up and that your students are dedicated as much as the staff is. I also heard that First Lady Jill Biden made a visit last month. Could you tell us a little bit about that?
So that was a historic event. Secretary of Education Cardona, First Lady Jill Biden, the governor, Congressman Gottheimer. We had a number of luminaries here, but of course the central keynote was Dr. Jill Biden. And we were recognized for our student supports during this difficult last couple of years. We've given seats in our early childhood center, our daycare center, to student parents to help them stay in school. One of the things that really impressed Dr. Biden was the fact that we leveraged $5 million of federal funds to do a tuition debt relief program so that students could have their financial holds lifted from their record and not have a barrier to registering and continuing in college and fulfilling their goals. We've added mental health counseling and advisors during the pandemic. So we were recognized for excellence in areas like tutoring, student support services, holistic supports, mental health counseling, our food pantries and food insecurity supports. The more I list these things, the more in awe I am of the team here and what they were able to do through the pandemic and continue to do. But Secretary Cardona said, if you want to know how to do it well, call Dr. Friedman, call Bergen Community College. And I was humbled by that, but it's my team, it's not me. It's my team who comes up with ideas on how to serve those impacted by COVID and how to make it so they can stay in school, whether they're a struggling student parent or their car broke down and they can't commute to school any longer and we need to leverage some emergency funds, or we need to expand the hours in the food pantry so they can access food. All of this is a web of support and a system of support for our students that federal CARES funding and HERF funding has enabled us to really expand upon.
And you'd have to have a really caring staff to be putting all of these programs together, so I can only imagine what that's like from your end as well.